Hi, hello everyone. This is Dr. Vishweswaraya S, Assistant Professor of English, working in Government First Grade College Kunigal, which is affiliated to Tumkur University, Karnataka. So here in this video, I would like to focus on the neoclassical period of literature. Okay, so we consider that neoclassical literature was written between 1660 and 1798. This time, this particular period is broken down into the three parts or three stages. That is the Restoration period, the Augustan period, and the Age of Johnson. Okay, so the writers of this neoclassical era or the period tried to imitate the style of the Romans and Greeks. Okay, thus the combination of the term neo means which means new, and classical means the day of classics means the day of the Rome and Greek classics. Okay, this was also the era of enlightenment, and which emphasized logic and reason. It was preceded by the Renaissance and followed by the Romantic era. It's very beautiful era it is. Okay, in fact, the neoclassical period ended in 1798 when Wordsworth published the Romantic lyrical ballads. So like this, okay, let us have some slides before you. So on the screen, okay. So this is the first slide of mine. In this session, as I told you that the neoclassical period of literature is the topic, and you're going to just view some slides on highlights of this period. Okay, so look at that. Let us first see the definition of this neoclassical. Okay, so neoclassical literature was written between 1660 and 1798. So writers of this neoclassical period tried to imitate, as I already told you, that the style of classical Romans and Greeks. Yeah, so there was a revival of interest in ancient classical arts. Okay, the motto of this period was to imitate the ancients. Okay, so thus the word neoclassical is a combination of the term neo, which means new, and classical, which means the time of the Rome and Greek classics. Okay, so let us look at here on the slide historical background to the neoclassical period. Okay, this period was the time of comfortableness in England, and the people would meet at coffee houses to chat about politics, among other topics, and sometimes drink a new warm beverage made of chocolate. It was also the beginning of British tradition drinking afternoon tea. Okay, and it was the starting point of middle class, and because of that more people were literate. Okay, next the first monarch of the period was Charles II. Here personified the fictions and facades of the age. And we can say that he professed to support Church of England. Charles II professed to support the Church of England, but was secretly Roman Catholics. Okay, the people were very interested in appearances, but not necessarily in being genuine. Okay, only the appearances was given importance in this age. Okay, It was a time of British political upheaval as 8 monarchs took the throne. And as I told you that this was a restoration, as Charles II started or began with this. Okay. Okay, literary background. Let us look at the literary background for this. The neoclassical period began when Charles II was restored to the throne of English in 1660. The period or the neoclassical was the time of both formality and artificiality. It is also a period where counterfeiting and facades are very important. And this was also the era of enlightenment, which emphasized logic and reason. The people were not accepting without the logic and the reason. Therefore, we need to understand the politics, sociology, and economics of this period to understand its literature. Okay. Then, some of the characteristics of neoclassical literature we focus on this slide. Okay. Neoclassical literature is characterized by order, accuracy, and structure. So, all the writings followed this. And it was a direct opposition to Renaissance attitudes because it was preceded by the Renaissance. So, it was a direct opposition to the attitudes of the Renaissance. Sorry. So, where a man was seen as a basically good, the neoclassical writers portrayed man as inherently defective. Okay. So, the writers of this age emphasized restraint, self-control, and common sense. Okay. So, this was the time when reaction flourished in both politics and literature. Okay. So, if we want to say more on characteristics here, some popular forms of literature of this period are, you can say that heroic verse, parody, essays, satire, letters, fables, melodrama, comedies, novel, and rhyming with couplets. Okay, this was the popular form of literature we find. Okay, we can just have find in this period. Okay, so as I already told you in the beginning, so there are 3 stages in this neoclassical period. Okay, it can be divided into 3 relatively coherent sub-periods. Okay, so from 1660 to 1700, the Restoration Age, or we consider that the age of Dryden, John Dryden. Okay, then the second stage here is the Augustan Age, or the age of Pope Alexander Pope, which was started in 1700 to 1750. The third stage, the age of sensibility, or the age of Johnson, 1750 to 1798. Okay, these were the 3 stages to were divided, and we can just see that how the literature, how the writings have come up in these 3 stages considered neoclassical. Okay, authors of this age, we say that in Restoration Age, John Milton, John Bunyan, and John Dryden were completely 1631 were the dominant influences here. In the Augustan Age, the Pope was the central poetic figure, while Defoe, Richardson, Fielding, and Smollett were presiding over the sophistication of this novel, the novel. Okay, in third stage, the age of sensibility was dominated and characterized by the mind and personality of the inimitable, that is Dr. Samuel Johnson, whose sympathies were with the fading Augustan past. Okay, so to conclude this session or the presentation, So we can say that towards at the end of the neoclassical, we saw that in the beginnings of the new understandings and appreciation of the work of Shakespeare, the development of the novel of sensibility, and the emergence of Gothic school. These were importantly focused here. It also saw some attitudes which, in the context of the development of a cult of nature, of the influence of German Romantic thought, of religious tendencies like the rise of Methodism, and of political events like the American and French revolutions, established in intellectual and emotional foundations of English Romanticism. So we can say that at the end of this, it led to start romanticism, or the age of romantics. Okay, so with this, I can just say that how this particular session helped you to, I think, to know briefly on the neoclassical period, and how it was started, and main characteristics of this, and the writers of this age, and other things. Okay, so I hope that you understood this, and if you want more on to study this, kindly just read more on neoclassical period, so you'll be able to get more information on this. Okay, so please again subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for listening to this. Okay, thank you so much.